It's going to be a nasty night on the boat. The guy that's smart, he'll stay off of it.
Okay, is this sounding? You're okay? I can't hear it.
You're good.
Hey, welcome to hi Joyce. Welcome to the TRIAD meeting. We're going to have our speaker first. Questions during, okay?
During's fine, yeah.
Okay. And then afterwards we'll have our meeting too, so stay for our meeting, so because we've got more goodies and coffee and stuff like that. But I want to introduce how not to be a victim. Goodhue County Deputy Rodney Roberts plans to cover the anatomy of a victim, knowledge of self, weakness, strength, and trust given versus trust earned, knowledge of your location, planning your safety and survival, fight or flight, plus including decisions on what is most important to you and what can you live without. Protection is based on mental first and physical last. Roberts is a trainer, SWAT member, and diver with the Goodhue County Sheriff's Department. And I'm going to have Tom, will you say anything else that you want to about him or not?
There are so many things I can say about
that.
I've been kind of teasing him up to this point, saying, yeah, you know, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. But I did a quick correction. He's actually the assistant dive team commander. So he's got a number of years of diving experience. I also joke and call him our dive team underwater sniper. So he just shakes his head at me and it's like, oh, shut up. Yeah, Roddy's been with the sheriff's office a long time. Came from another agency like I did. We've worked together on crews. We've had a lot of fun out there. We've had our disagreements, but we're brothers to the end. And with that, I'll give you Rod.
Thank you.
Father Roberts.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Yep. I do better when I speak loud, but wow, big group today for the most part. It's a big group. This is awesome. A little bit about me. Of course, I've been a deputy for 17 years. Been with this sheriff's department 14 of them. I've been a SWAT operator for 10 of those years. And as a SWAT operator, we get to see the really bad side of the bad calls. With that, my knowledge base and my experience base also I derive from being a U.S. Navy corpsman. I spent 7.5 years with the service as a medic for the Marine Corps, 2nd Marine Division, 6th Marines. I saw some combat overseas. I also, as Tommy says, I'm a rescue recovery diver. I've been diving, late 80s I started diving till now. A lot of training involved in that, and a lot of just you know, experience. That's what it's all about. And what I draw from, and I'm going to touch on in my speech, is everybody has experiences here. Everybody, you have more experience in life than I do. You know, obviously the age difference, but my experiences in both being a deputy, being in the military, I'm a fitness instructor also in Apple Valley. I teach a little bit of boxing, and I've played a lot of sports. If you look at those sports, they kind of tell you it's hockey, football, and I was a bull rider at one point too. So a lot of, and the most important, and I should put it on top, is I've been married for 23 years. You know, who here hasn't been married a long time, and you know, you get to know what conflict resolution is and how to pick your battles, and that's what you know. I think the best experience is how to pick your battles. You know, when are you going to stand up? When are you going to make distance? So, as you saw, the first part is the name of the game is protect yourself at all times. It's hard to do that in our society. It's hard to keep that your gloves up or gloves laced up. But nobody wants to be a victim, and in my job, I meet a lot of victims. I meet a lot of people that said, "Oh, you know, I didn't know," or, "You know, I should have known," or, you know, and we say hindsight's 20/20, but we all have that foresight, and that's what I'm talking about is preparation, foresight to not be a victim. Easy definition, the definition of a victim in the English learners is the person who has been attacked, injured, or robbed, or killed, or something else. A person who's been cheated or fooled by someone else. And that's the one we see the most of all. We don't, in our area, we don't see a lot of people being assaulted or robbed or anything, but it can happen, keeping those gloves up. What we see a lot of is those people being cheated and fooled and tricked. The last one is someone who's someone or somebody that has harmed or has an unpleasant event, been through an unpleasant event. Most of that being an unpleasant event, we don't want to have that repeat. My 17 years, I just want to put this up. My 17 years, I've never seen a body chalk line of you. But we don't want to be that person. We don't want to be that symbol of being a victim. So what I say is, don't be the victim. Yeah. Being a victim is a two-sided coin. One, that side of the coin is the mindset of, well, you know, I couldn't do anything about it, or, you know, that's just life, or, you know, I didn't see it coming. The other side of that coin is the mindset of, I'm not going to let it happen to me. You know, I'm tougher than that. I'm stronger than that mentally. It's a conscious decision. It's a everyday get up, look in the mirror, and say, you know what? I'm going to have the greatest day in the world, but nobody's going to fool me. Nobody's going to put me in a corner. Nobody's going to put me in a position where I have to defend myself, physically or mentally. I say strive, thrive, and stay alive. That's kind of my saying on that. You want to strive to be the best you can be and have the best life you can be. That's by thriving, by a community that's around you. No, it takes a village, it really does. If you see that person, your friend, whatever, not striving or thriving, help them out. And you stay alive a lot longer. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. I could talk an hour on cognitive slicing. Cognitive slicing, to me, we all do it. We all sit in the mall and watch people. We make decisions about, hey, who is that person? Really, we don't know them. They're strangers. They walk by. It's 3 seconds. You see them, they're gone. They're in the midst. We make a decision really quick on who that person is, just based on clothing, smiles, waves, or not. All right? Trust those instincts, because that's a gift that we've been given throughout our whole life. If you see somebody coming down the road at you, and their fists are clenched, and they're really focused on you, you know, don't be Minnesota nice and say, oh, maybe I make their day a better day if I open my mind up to them. You know what I mean? I see so much of that where I didn't see it coming. And then there's also that aspect of, you got to hone those skills too. Everybody doesn't, I mean, you don't want to be judgmental. You don't want to be a bad person, making a judgment and being wrong. But you don't want to be that victim either. It's hard to see those sheep or those wolves in sheep clothing. But if you practice those skills of cognitive slicing, it gets better. It's easier. I always post this question to new people that come into my car and they ride around with me, and I say, you don't know me from anybody. How would you get to know me? 2 hours sitting here in my car, I'll tell you my story, or 5 minutes in my bathroom? You know, think about that for a second.
Paints an image.
You would know more things about more people 5 minutes in their bathroom than 2 hours sitting with them. You will get a clearer picture. And I'll let you think about that. All right? the mainstay of my experience in fighting is preparation. Ladies, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Preparation. In fighting, preparation, you know, you have a 6-week camp or an 8-week camp where you're prepping for a fight. I've been prepping for a fight most of my life, okay? Started fighting probably back in my hockey days. Physical fight is so easy. It's the mental part that is not, okay? In boxing, if you don't follow that plan, you know, you don't study your partner or your opponent, you will lose. You will lose. Know thyself, and in that, you got to know yourself, know your strengths. I'm 49 years old. Okay, I'm not as fast as I used to be. There's a song like that. You know, I'm not. I'm strong-willed, but I can't do the things that I used to be when I was at 20, 25. Okay, and you have to, when you come up against an opponent, you have to have that in the back of your mind. Okay, do I call for backup this time? Tommy, you know me, right? I rarely call for backup, but when I do, you come fast. I'm calling for more backup lately, you know, because it's getting strange out there. Know your weaknesses too, and when I say weaknesses, the mental part of the game, that's so hard to accept yourself, your weakness. What can't I do in any situation that would put me in a position that will absolutely make me lose? Okay? I'm right-hand dominant. I'm not coming out with my left hand, am I? That's a weakness. But if I practice that left hand, get it in, and I can change, it's a strength then. Know your weaknesses, know your strengths. Know your opponent. Beware of sheep or wolves in sheep clothing. And there's a lot of them out there. I'm telling you. I see so much more fraud in our investigations now than I ever did in my life, and it's because of the technology that's out there. It's because of the mindset of you know, it's a victimless crime. Insurance will pay for it, whatever. But beware of those people, and how we beware is our trust in our fellow man. Okay, I trust Tommy. I trust him completely. I trust my fellow officers. When I call, they're going to come. Okay, but how do we trust? All right. I've lived all around the world. Japan, East Coast. I was on the West Coast for a little while. A lot of differences in different types of people, and it's hard to put it in words, but Minnesota, we trust. I mean, we throw it out there, you know. And at the end, you know, we say Minnesota nice, and it is. I wouldn't live anywhere. I had opportunities to live everywhere. Australia, Hawaii. I wanted to come back to Minnesota because it's a great place to live. People are kind here, but they're too trusting. You know, we have to learn how to trust and how much we can give of our trust. I give you, and the scams that out there on the phones are rampant. One of them, guy calls you up and says, "Hey, I'm your grandson and I'm in jail and I need bail." I mean, that happens. They're preying on you, and they're planning to defraud you of money, and they're hoping that you trust them. I say you have to earn the trust through anything. Friends, family members, you know, it's not a bad world to live in when that trust is just out there enough, but they earn it. They prove to themselves that they can be trustworthy. My son, 15 years old, drove my brand new lawn tractor. He was 14. He drove it once, right into the biggest rock in my yard. He hasn't driven it since. He has to earn that trust. Now the tractor's fine and he's fine, but I use that example as this is my family member. You know, this is my son. Let him earn it. If you come into contact with somebody that you don't know or you can't trust, let them earn it first. You can still be Minnesota nice. That ain't going to change. I'm not telling you to change personality. People in Minnesota, their personalities are awesome. I meet 80% of the people out there that I meet are happy that I'm in front of them, are happy to meet me. It's the 20% that might not agree with my job or what I'm doing. Very seldom do I meet somebody that's not Minnesota nice. All right, the mental game, knowledge of place. This is we've been here before, right? Everybody know how to get here and to and from. This is a safe place. But we come across places, I go to Rochester, and I'm not sure. I've been living down in Zumbrota for 14 years, and I'm not sure always where I am in Rochester because it's changing so much. It changes so fast. Know where you are. Know where you're going. If you're traveling to the Mall of America, know what you're getting yourself into. Have a plan, because the knowledge of place is going to mitigate so much of your getting yourself in trouble, okay? I tell my 21-year-old college daughter, who is way trusting of friends, and I call her, where are you? Well, Dad, I'm here, okay? Have you been there before? Well, no. Okay, who are you with? Well, so-and-so. Stay with them, Be together. Don't separate, because that's when you get in trouble. Unfamiliar places, obviously, traveling. We all like to travel, and I'm suspecting that you guys at your age now, you do a little more traveling than I do. No? Little? Okay. If you do travel, know where you are. Know your travel. Have your travel plan set, each stage. And now that's hard because some things come up. But my wife loves to travel with me because I do the planning. I make sure that we know where we're going to be every step of the trip. New restaurants. When I go to a new restaurant, I know I take a walk around. The lady's going to seat everybody. They're going to seat my wife and children first. I take a walk around to know where the exits are, know where the cash register is, and know where the bathrooms are, of course. All those kinds of things. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Why else would you walk around a new restaurant?
Well, just to kind of get a feel for who was all in that building at that time. Okay. I put my back to the wall and I keep an eye on the entrance.
That's the western.
Yeah, and I keep my eye on the cash register. There's multiple cash registers, but at least where most of the trouble is going to be if it comes down real quick. Because what's the bottom line here? Money. Money. Yes?
So if there was trouble at the cash register, what would you advise to do? Get down under the table? What?
If there's trouble, you know where the exit is because you've seen that.
Quite often you're the exit, so you can't get out.
There's always two exits. That emergency exit, you hit it. Okay. Number one, what's it going to do? It's going to set an alarm off. Okay? It's going to go whoop, whoop, whoop. Hey, there's something wrong here. People are going to be, and then you exit. Okay? Don't go to the fight. You're not going to fight. You're not going to. I might step up if I'm armed, but I'm going to be pushing my family out the back door. And I'm going to live to be the best witness I can be. If I don't need to get involved, and my involvement is a little bit different than the general public's involvement. You be the best witness you can be, and I'll touch on that. planning your defense. I always have something to write on, and the most powerful thing, and the press knows that, is this, right? Something to write on, something to record, so I can recall it with perfect clarity later on if I need to be a witness. Cell phones are great. I mean, technology. We hit record and you get play-by-play, and that's great. It's double-edged for everybody. You know, you can see my behavior, which is pretty gosh darn good all the time. And you can see their behavior. So it helps both ways. Or an audio recorder, because sometimes we don't always have. I have a backup. I'm always mic'd. I can have my cell phone mic'd, and I have my audio recorder. So that's 3, because in the Marine Corps they teach you all those gadgets. They're awesome. Man, we get them. GPS, I was in the middle of the desert, lost. Had no idea, because it failed me. No one said that when the clouds come across, and there are clouds in the desert. The clouds come across, these things don't work. I pull out my safety little compass, and I'm like, we're here. Let's go. So understand that's why you should carry a piece of paper and pen, and if you have the ability to record or something to back up your technology. And in that, my next thing is time and space. Time and space in a fight or in a conflict is crucial. When I'm confronted with something and I know my opponent and I know my weaknesses and my strengths, and if I am not comfortable and or able to subdue or to quell or to shake a little reason in them, I make some time and I make some space. If that means just grabbing a chair and putting it between us, backing out, finding that exit, it's all going to give me the crucial time and space that I need, both to make a better plan and to keep that person away from me, so I'm not the victim. And that's just a small example. You can put a car between you, and you can get in your car and drive and put a lot of space between you. You know, just depends on what the situation is. Communicate clearly too. And part of defense is communication. If I say, "Please, sir, please don't do this to me, please, please," the communication there is weak. If I'm like, "Stop, hey, don't, you are not going to do this, back," that's a little more clear. And what I'm doing, not just for the sake of the communicating between me and the subject, I'm giving everybody else in that area the keys that they need to be the best witnesses they can be. If they can come in and mitigate or stop, the problem, and or witness you doing what you need to do, either if that means exiting or protecting yourself. And then the last thing, keep your eye on the exit all the time. Know where it is. All right? My only exit in this room is that door right there. Windows, I don't see you guys being a threat though, so. Know what you're up against. That's my favorite picture. Yes? Bring that up. How about, I'm sorry. There you go.
Why don't you just drop it and just use your regular loud voice?
All right, I can do that too. I'm absolutely more comfortable doing that. All right, 'cause I feel like I'm out on the range going, all right, people, get on line. We will be doing this. Know what you're up against. I've played a lot of hockey, and I studied hockey tapes on who I was actually going to be playing against, and I for the most part knew what they were capable of and doing. In my fighting, all except the guy that broke my teeth out, I knew what they were going to be doing, it's if you have that opportunity know who you're up against. You know, if it looks like a burglar, it is a burglar. You know, this guy isn't here to deliver a paper. He's going to steal from you. And your attackers won't look like this either. I put that in there because what does a criminal or a thief or somebody that's a wrongdoer look like? They look like anybody else. I mean, you know, you pull up booking photos and I hardly recognize some of them because they're in that jail uniform. But that's not the person I saw when I arrested them, you know. We went over a little bit of traveling, but one of the things with traveling too is with our technologies now, we're planning our movements a little bit better, but we overplan them by letting other people know that we're going to be going somewhere, okay? And there's twofold here. What you've worked so hard for and you're leaving and you want to come back to that, and that you're moving away and you're going to be in a environment that is unfamiliar to you. So it's a double-edged thing where you want to call ahead, make your reservations, let your trusted loved ones know that you're going, but you don't have to tell everybody online, hey, I'm going to Cancun for a week. I can't wait. Because I see that's putting it out there. That's trusting too many eyes, too many ears. Something's going to happen. They're going to make you a victim, either by when you're gone, they're going to take your stuff, or while you're gone, they're going to look for you in an unfamiliar environment. Travel in pairs, always. You know, I love my wife. I love traveling with her. Can guarantee you set my watch to it. 5 minutes in the car, she's sleeping. I get to turn my music on, my music, not hers. Play, but it's always better in pairs. It's, you know, you get to share everything and share expenses or whatever it is, but safety in numbers. Watch each other's backs. That goes without saying. My twin brother's a deputy. A little longer than I have been. Not a trusting soul, not a person that trusts a lot. But he was in an environment down in Mexico, had his camera sitting on the table right next to him. Turns his head to say something to his wife, turns around, the camera's gone. I mean, and that's him. He's like me. He's the guy looking at the, I mean, it can happen so fast. So quick, and that's just a small example. I mean, there's a bazillion things that happen that if you, he said, man, I even said, I'm just going to wrap my leg, or put it on my leg and wrap the cord around it so, if somebody tried to grab it, he said, I just said that to myself. You know? Yeah, and then limit vacation information to trusted members. Again, trusted members. And don't include social media as a way to tell loved ones. This is kind of a guy thing, and I'll tell you, the next slide you'll see is like, yeah, I get it. But know how to get to A and B. You know, I drive around, and if we go on a family trip, I'll ask my 15-year-old, hey, do you know where we're going? Well, yeah, we're going to Grandma's. Well, do you know how to get there? I just sit in the back seat, you know? You know what I mean? You know, educate yourself. Don't rely always on GPS. The night before I go on any type of training or anything, I print out a map. I know the route. I try to call ahead and get ahead of that that season we call road construction. I fight up in the cities, and they closed 42, and I was a little late for a boxing lesson, and that road construction came up way too fast. I didn't see it, but yeah, know where A and B is and know how to get there, because when you get lost, you got to ask directions, and that's hard for some people. I won't say generally, males have a harder time than females asking directions, and I don't know what it is, but if you're lost, ask for directions. You know, don't say, hey, I'm so lost, but come up to them. Come up to somebody that you can trust for a second, gas station attendant, whatever. Hey, you know, most of the time they'll have a map and say, you are here. You know, ask for directions. Don't stay lost. Now, the next thing I'll talk about a little bit is the physical dynamics of fighting, and I'm not going to touch a lot on that. Fighting is something that to be good at, and I'm still a student of it. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to know the dynamics and how it changes. But at one point, if you are confronted, and it's instinctual, we either fight or we flight. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to fight, okay? Sometimes our opponent has planned his attack to the point where he doesn't give you an exit, and you have to decide, am I going to be a victim, or am I going to give the best defense I can? You know your limitations. I'm not going to show you any secret, you know, death touch or anything like that. I'm going to tell you that it's in you to make a decision to protect yourself. How you do that, that's up to you. Okay? I would hope that in your decisions you've already accumulated a plan very quickly to exit, to move out. But if you have to decide what's important to you, fight or flight. Now, I like this because it illustrates, to me anyway, when I'm out on the road, do I run from the white shark, who's much bigger than me, more powerful, predator, or do I call for backup? Do I stick together? Does the community come in? And do they become the best witness they can be? Do we stay together to fort off something that's bigger than me or badder than me? And one lesson you learn in fighting, there's always somebody bigger and badder than you. And I love this quote because it comes in to everything we do. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. So it's that mental toughness. It's that I'm not going to give up. If they're after your money, give it to them. If it comes to that physical aspect, property can be replaced. You can't. I would much rather give them my wallet, my watch, my shoes, hell, my clothes. If that takes them what it takes to get them away from me and I walk away breathing without holes in me, you can have it. Because you have to have that, with that physical toughness, you have to have the mental toughness to say, what is important to me? You know, you want my car keys? Take it. It's a Ford with 180,000 miles on it. You know, it will be replaced. I can't be, nor can any of you. You have to make that choice. What is your choice? Do you fight, or do you flight and live to fight another day? Just real quick, physical aspects of a fight, you got to keep your head. If someone hits you, it hurts. You know, the first time I was ever punched and broke my nose, I could hardly see. I was crying, you know, just physically going, oh my God. But that leaves you, and your mind takes over, and you go to what you train for. You strike and move. Don't stand. If you stand, if you stand in one place, you're a standing target. Strike and move. That means pushing off, go to a 90-degree angle. Their momentum will take them right by you. You're out the exit. Make it known you won't be a victim. Again, scream. The verbal is huge. Example is when you're down in Florida, they have signs all over. You know, the panthers are down there, they're stalking you. You aren't apex predator #1 out there. But the best defense is get big and scream loud, and they'll run away. If you show that you're not a victim, if you show that you're not afraid, that might help you. That might help, and they'll realize, hey, maybe not such a soft target. Strike with power, move to take power away. I added that because the boxer in me, you know, strike with power. You know, when you move, when somebody has a half-inch reach on me, I'm going to get in close. It takes away their power. But if I have the reach, I'm going to strike with more power. I'm going to stay away from them. And always look for your exit, because you cannot sustain. You cannot sustain a physical fight. I mean, we do it in SWAT. We'll be on our knees and we'll fight each other. And at 100%, you're at 50% in less than 30 seconds. If you're in a fight for your life, the adrenaline and everything else like that, you're not going to last more than a minute. So you cannot sustain, fight, strike, move, live to fight another day. And that is the conclusion. Again, it's my quote. It's not always the size of the fight in the dog. All right. Any questions?
What if you're in a mall, you're walking out to your car at night? What statistically would it say is the best thing for you to do if you're accosted? They either have a weapon, but they haven't touched you within a few feet. Are you better to run back to the store? Are you just better to run anywhere? Otherwise, if you're in the car, it's probably not.
Yeah, great lifetime example. My mom, single mom, this was back in the 70s. Cutting hair, left work. She was the only one there. Walked to her car, got attacked. She did the right things. She fought him off, yelled and screamed. A guy down the road saw. They actually caught him. It was the whole thing. You know, she had a couple bruises. What she realized from that point on is, you know, before I went to my car, I should have been prepared. Either call somebody else, hey, can you walk me to my car? And in a mall situation, they have security. The Rochester Mall, Mall of America, they'll walk you to your car.
You know what? We're not going to ask them.
Yeah, I know, but see, that's part of your planning. You know what? You have to realize, okay, if you don't ask for help, you don't want to be secure, then you take that risk. And I haven't asked for the escort, but I'll park as close as I can in the Mall of America. Believe you me, and I'm armed. You know?
Okay. That's
Just always, you know, again, multiply your number. Force multiplier, 1 + 1 equals bad guy really taking a better look at his prey. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Have you been trained in martial arts, and if you have, do you think that that would help in a situation like that?
Oh, all martial arts. Have I been trained in some? Yes. We have in-house training for SWAT. With my boxing, I have a little Muay Thai fighting, cage fighting stuff. But
I was thinking more in terms of Taekwondo.
yeah, that's all. And in those practices, they talk a lot more about the mental preparation for the physical fight. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Some of the tactics used in law enforcement come from Aikido. In the Aikido martial art, it's less aggressive and it's designed to use your attacker's own momentum against them.
Yep.
It's more subject control as opposed to the whip-ass medieval stuff of Taekwondo or a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah.
So how, can you give me an actual example of that, Tom?
Of
Using,
something in Aikido?
yeah, can you give me an actual example?
Stand up.
Like take Rosie's.
Absolutely.
I do this to him all the time. He's been in Aikido, so he knows. Just simple. If you got somebody, you know, you pull them off balance, and now I'm using his arm as a tool against them.
Leverage.
As you see, when I rotate it in, what did it do to his body? Turned it away from me. Well, now I get him here. See, I'm not hurting you. I do this at home. I can put pressure on that, and it hurts. And somebody like me, I've got very tight wrists. So when we do this in training, they don't even mean to hurt me, and I'm going, ow, 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 because it hurts. He called me a pansy. But you get him here, now you can drive him to the ground. And I made my nephew lick the floor years ago. He thought he could take me, oh, you're an old man. Okay. So it's a very simple thing.
Whatever techniques you learn and use, and most of the martial arts will teach you that you bring an open hand to most everything. Okay? This is open. This is not a threat. But you back it with a threat. Okay? I don't suggest the physical aspect of the fight. Yeah, I don't suggest going from, hey, I'm standing here, I'm gonna fight. I suggest making that time and space and living the next day. Okay? That's all I got. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Last week we were down in the cities, my husband and I. He was looking for a certain store, and I don't even know whereabouts we were. But I'm not familiar much with the city yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't walk well, so he parked and went to the store, and it was like a block away.
Okay.
And of course I smoked at the door, had a cigarette, and as I'm doing that, I'm thinking, no, this isn't very smart. I probably should lock the doors and just sit here and wait for him.
Unfamiliar location.
Around with the air conditioning.
There you go.
I didn't. But as I saw people walking by a lot, I thought,
You trusted your instinct. You said, this is wrong.
but I didn't do much about it.
Well, that's the next step.
But I at least knew, that
Because we can look at a book and say, oh, that's going to be a good book, but we judge a book by its cover. We can see what people walking by all the time. They look good.
yeah.
We just don't know what's in their heart. In an unfamiliar area, you alone, trust that instinct. It's there for a purpose. It is. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Oh, I wanted to comment on your background a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Most people probably aren't aware of a Navy corpsman. And
Yep.
they have to be dedicated. When people are down in the battlefield, everybody else is taking cover. It's the corpsman that has to
Come up.
come up and take care of the wounded.
Yep.
And if you're embedded in a Marine unit, like you say you were,
Mm-hmm.
that's the toughest of the tough.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We often say with the Navy, and jokingly we say we own the Marine Corps. Well, they're a department of. They're there when they need a ride. But my brother's in green. That's what I went to do. And it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But I wouldn't change it for a minute. I wouldn't trade it for a minute. So, anything else, ladies and gentlemen? All right.
It's 5 minutes in the bathroom compared to 2 hours in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's part of I learned that through a book called Blink. It's Malcolm Gladwell. He's a social scientist, sociologist. He's very, very learned. He's written many books, but Blink kind of resonated with me, and he turned me on to that aspect. Is when I'm talking to you, you see me in my uniform, or anybody. You come to an interview, or you meet somebody in church. They go around. They're going to put their best foot forward. They're going to tell you everything good about them, or, you're going to generally know in 20 minutes what their life story is. Tell me if I'm wrong. But that's just the best foot forward. You go into somebody's bathroom, you're going to see how clean they are, how tidy, what medications they're on. You're going to feel their toothbrush. Did they brush their teeth that day? You're going to look at the mirror. Is it messy? Is it clean? You're going to know more aspects of that person that they're not willing to share in that 2 hours with you. So you get a better mental picture of them. There.
That was an excellent question.
Yes, it was, Helen. Helen would do it, too.
All right.
I've known,
I thought you meant two people to go in the bathroom together.
Yeah. I'm not even going to comment. I don't know where to go on that.
Only teenage girls.
Yeah.
for,
Go ahead.
for situational awareness, I'll give an example from years back when we were on vacation. We own a timeshare in Kissimmee, Florida. We're a mile from downtown Disney, so you think it's going to be a really nice, happy, safe place. There's a little Italian restaurant, and I can't remember the name of it, half mile from our timeshare. So we call up, hey, order our food, and I'm going to pick it up and take it back to the timeshare. I drive over there, I go in, they're busier than snot, so it's going to be 20 minutes. So I sit down and have a glass of wine. As I'm sitting there, there are two guys down the bar, and they're kind of looking over, and being paranoid by nature, I'm looking at this going, I don't like this. So I asked the bartender, do you know them guys? No, I've never seen them before. Well, it's a red flag for me. The hairs are up on the back of my neck. Is it something bad? I have no idea. I don't belong here. I don't live there. So I'm watching these guys. They bring all my food out. I slam my glass. As I'm walking to the car, they got up and followed me outside. At that point, I'm just like he's saying, am I going to fight these two or am I going to run? What am I going to do? Well, I went out to the lot. There was like a panel van. I walked to that. As I came around this side, I could see they were turning to the left thinking I'm going that way. I was parked to the right. And at that point, I made a quick exit, got in the minivan we rented, and I got out of there. I think they were going to roll me in the parking lot. They were going to rob me, I think. You know, you got some, I don't know. I mean, now I'm starting to get some color, but in the wintertime, my skin's like this. You know, I glow in the dark down in Florida. You know, they figured they were going to roll me and probably get some cash. Everybody carries cash. I don't. Maybe $10 is all I ever have on me. And then he takes it and goes and buys candy. So, you know, which is good. But situational awareness, always watch.
You're always evaluating, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should you have called the police?
Yes and no. I always tell people when I'm working, just call us.
Mhm.
That's what we're here for. And the group's heard me say it before. We may be sitting in our car, but we're like a racehorse. We're waiting to go after Billy Burgley.
Mhm.
We want to take him out.
Yep.
That's what we do. That's what we train for.
Yes, in any situation, your definition of suspicious and my definition of suspicious, although maybe not too far off, if it's suspicious to you, then it's suspicious to me until I can prove differently. So, yeah, and that uncomfortable feeling is years and years of instinct in us. You know, we heard a lion calling, we climbed the tree and wanted to stay away from being the next supper. We see something strange, two people walking up my sidewalk and it doesn't say NSP or whatever badge they would carry. I'm calling it suspicious too. You did the right thing. Go inside, protect yourself. Make space, make time. Call it in. We might be 5 minutes away. We might be 20, but we're coming. One more question, and I got to actually get going to the duty.
Would it have helped, do you think, or would it have inflamed them if she would have said, you're trespassing on my property, would you please leave? Might that have been-
That's a judgment call. You know what? Here's a better way. You know, washer and dryer, my dryer needs cleaning. let's set up an appointment. What's your name? Even if they gave me John Doe, what vehicle did you come in? 452, 6, GBD. Now I got something to start with. And they're going, we ain't coming back here. We ain't coming back here because they know too much about me. Piece of paper and a pencil. The pen is mightier than the sword.
I'm
Right?
going to chip in on this one too. Another thing that you can do is, in the city of Cannon Falls, they have to have a solicitor's permit that comes from City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get backgrounded through the police department, they have to pay for their license and everything. Ask them to see their solicitor's permit. If they tell you we don't have to have one, they're lying.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows you have to have one.
And if they don't, call in because
Exactly.
we're very interested to see
Yeah.
them.
This was in Canada.
We like to visit. with
Yeah.
them.
All right.
This happened recently
Yep.
on the west side. There was a young, good-looking guy, about 6 feet tall, in pink shorts, of all things. And now he was targeting, he said, he asked questions about, and he evidently was selling supplemental insurance. And he wanted to know about people having cancer finally. And my daughter asked that question, do you have a license to do this? In this town requires that. He stammered around. He obviously didn't have one.
Right, and I've actually had that happen to my house. They come over, I want to sell this cleaning product.
Yeah.
Where's your permit? I don't have to have one. You gotta use
Oh,
it."
yeah, you do.
And he actually literally wanted to stand there and argue with me. I'm like, hold on.
Beep, beep, beep.
So,
Yeah.
no, I actually went and grabbed my badge and stuff. I said,
Ah.
you're gonna tell me again that you don't have to have one? Because I'm gonna tell you right now you do. I said, now I'm gonna call my partner and say, you need to come check this guy out.
Yeah.
And they came over and,
And what the city does when they get a permit is they do a background check on these people. They make sure that their businesses are legit, that the people aren't wanted, that they're not a danger to the community, that kind of thing. So it most of the time if they're coming to the door and they don't have a permit, that's a wolf. That's somebody that's prying. He's looking into something. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am on duty and I have to get back out on the road. So I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to come and talk with your group. It was my pleasure. I hope if you see me out and about, you wave. I'll wave at you. Wave at me with all 5 fingers, I hope. So, and I do accept the farmer. So, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.